Hey YouTube, today I'm going to do something that I said I would never do on YouTube, and I'm going to reveal a little bit of personal stuff about myself. And I'm going to use these two firearms here. I've showed both of these firearms before in the past, but there's a reason why I chose these two firearms to make this video. So what we have here in front of us, we have a Colt Anaconda on top, and we have a Colt Python here on the bottom. And before we go any further, I'm going to show you neither one of these things have anything in them, and they are clear to make a video with them. Okay, so this is not about these firearms, folks, but I am going to use these firearms in reference. And I always tell people when I own something on this channel and when I'm borrowing something. That's one of the things I've always done. 99.9% of the stuff that I show on this channel I own 100%. But if I borrow something because I think it's cool or it makes an interesting subject matter, I always give credit to the person that has it. But I never divulge who it is or anything like that, because quite frankly it's none of anybody's business who it is. So what we have here on this table, I own this one. I do not own this one. And I've shown this one I think once or twice on this channel, and I'm going to show it one more time. I am borrowing it again. This is a Colt Python. This was made in 1970, and this is the one that I did a video series on, restoring a Colt Python from the ground up. And this thing, if you go back and look in my catalog of videos, you'll see this thing was an absolute disaster when I got it. It was absolutely horrible. Now, I'm going to show you the story behind this, why I'm making this video. So, I took this gun. I took a young lady that I know out shooting several years ago, and I took a Colt Python out there, and she fell in love with them. She goes, "Well, I have to have one of those." I was like, "You don't need to go buy a handgun that costs several $1,000s. That's not something you need. You're not a firearms person, and if you ever want to go shooting, I have several of them. You can just shoot mine. I mean, you're never going to go to the range without taking somebody like me out there with you, so why do you need to have something like that?" Well, fast forward many years down the road, and I was in a local gun shop, and I know the gun shop owner very well. He's the one that does all my FFL transfers. He's the one that's handling my Form 4 for my suppressor that I have on order that I don't think ever is going to come in. And some guy came in there and sold this thing right before I came in, and he knows that I'm a Colt Python guy. And I was like, "Let me see that thing." And I looked at it, and it was pretty rough. And I was like, "How much is it?" And he told me, and it was probably the cheapest one I've ever seen. Honest to God, it's the cheapest one I've ever seen. So I bought it. And then I contacted her, and I was like, "Do you really want one of those things?" Well, she didn't know if she was going to buy it or not, and little does she know she was going to end up with it either way. But she ended up purchasing the thing. She gave me the money for it. So I do not own this gun, folks. This particular one I do not own. And we took it to the range, and she was as happy as could be. It was a blued Colt Python. She wanted a blued Colt Python, and we took it to the range, and she loved it. And then I told her, I was like, "Now give that back to me. I've got something I want to do to this." So I took this gun, and I took it to my gunsmith, who also has a YouTube channel on here, and I'm going to put a link to his channel on here, and he does gunsmith work. And we refinished this gun and made it look perfect. And I don't know if this is the ideal light for you to see it, but we ran into a couple snags here along the way, and this barrel is a little bit later model than the gun. If anybody knows anything about Colt Pythons, the roll marks on the 50s, 60s, and very early 70s ones are a little bit thinner. This one's off of a late 70s one. Well, the roll marks were really washed out, and it was in terrible condition. So I sourced the barrel out, and we rebarreled it and fit this barrel to it. And then he redid this royal blue finish. If you look at this hammer here, it's done exactly how it came from the factory, with just the tip of it glued. Redid the front sight. See, it's got a new insert in it, and everything's perfect on this gun. Everything. I took the grips myself. They were wore out and just had 50 years with the grease on them. I stripped them down with acetone. I did videos on how I did all this. I refinished these grips, left them a little bit where they're aged looking, but I refinished these myself, the grips, and this whole gun was refinished. This is a Colt collector's nightmare right here. They hate it, the fact that you refinish the gun, but I know a guy who can duplicate the work that Colt did. He's the only one that I know that can duplicate this royal blue finish, and this is not the best light to show this in, but I have other videos when I revealed this gun of what it really looks like. And I have a short video of holding it up with the Leanne Rimes songs in blue in the background, but this is what it turned out like. And I surprised her with it. Showed up and said, "Now look at your gun." And this is what every Colt collector dreams of having. All the freaking wing nuts who go to these gun shows, and they show their boxed, never fired Colt Python. Look at this thing. It doesn't have any turn lines on it or anything like that. You can see your reflection in it. I actually have a red shirt on in the background. You can see that in it. So there's no way that any person could ever tell this gun was ever refinished, because it was done absolutely correctly by a guy who used to finish for Colt. That's what he did. But it's a fabulous looking gun. It's one that anybody would love to have, and she enjoys it. She would never sell it anyway, so it's exactly what she wanted. She has a perfect Colt Python, and we've taken it to the range and fired it a little bit so she can shoot her Colt Python. So that is how this whole saga got started here with this little story here. Well, that led into the next gun here. This is a Colt Anaconda. I'll show you that it's not loaded. This is a 4 1/4 inch Colt Anaconda, and I've showed it here recently a little bit, but I've done videos on 4 1/4 Anacondas and stuff like that. The first one I did a video on, I did not own, and I disclosed that. When I bought the Colt Anaconda, I was the most excited about this gun than I was the new Colt Pythons. When the new Colt Pythons came out, I was really excited about them because they're smooth action. I didn't think they could get that right, and they did. But it wasn't that important to me to have one of those things at the time, because people were wanting an arm and a leg for them. And I already have a couple of the older ones. I already have them. So this was the one that I was excited about. And when it came out, when the Anaconda came out, I bought one. I bought one when they became reasonable at retail price. It's what they cost. They're not going to go into prices or anything like that, but everybody knows what the MSRP is on them, and I say I'm not going to pay over that. Well, I got a pretty good deal on it, and I bought the 6 inch one. The only ones that were available was the 8 inch and the 6 inch. But last year these came out, and I was like, man, if this one, and I borrowed that one and did the video, and I changed the sight on it, which I need to do this one too, folks. I need to change the sight on it. This one's actually the best one I've ever seen, but I'm still going to change it to the Wilson Combat sight. I just haven't got a chance to do all that yet. So I borrowed that one and did the video on it. I was like, if this would have been out when I bought mine, I would have never bought the 6 inch one, because this one's cool. This one's absolutely awesome. This is like the perfect size 44 Magnum, 4 inch. It's actually 4 1/4. So me and this girl was talking about this when they came out, and she has since then gotten very much into firearms, and we go to gun shows, and we do different stuff together, and we go to the range and all that, and we do a lot of stuff together, folks, but we're not going to go into too much of my personal life. But I don't know, a little while ago she showed up, said could I help her get something out of the back of her car, and I was like, absolutely, I'll do that. We went back to the trunk of her car and opened it up. This was sitting inside. She'd never purchased a firearm before on her own without anybody helping her. She never filled out a 4473 form. She bought it online at some place. I don't know what it is. I found out what she paid for it, and she actually got a really good deal on it. She didn't have any help with this. Nobody on the outside helped her. She got just as good a deal as I would have gotten, if not better. She got it shipped. She got it shipped to my FFL. They kept it a secret from me. She went and picked it up and showed up with it, and she bought me this Colt Anaconda. So my money did not purchase this. This was not donated by anybody that watches this channel or anything like that. This was bought by someone special in my life that actually owns this gun. So actually, she's purchased both of these guns, to be quite honest with you. But I wanted to make this video, and I always disclose what I own and what I do not own. And I actually do own this gun. I do not own this one right here. I've only showed this one a couple times when I was doing the restore. I have other Colt Pythons that I've shown on here a zillion times, but this is the one that I had restored for this young lady, and this is what it turned out like. I always said I was going to do a follow-up, take it out to the range and show it getting shot and everything. We don't even care if it gets messed up because we can fix it, but it's still in absolutely perfect shape. Any imperfections you see is my fingerprints. I did a video when I revealed this thing. I actually wore gloves, making fun of the white glove people, but this one's special to me, folks, because this was a gift for somebody that cares about me, and a lot of people are not into what I'm into. Obviously, people that are watching this video probably are. They're firearms people, but this person actually appreciates the quality stuff. They have an eye for stuff, and they appreciate me, and she bought me this gun. And I just wanted to make this quick video to say thank you. So anyway, folks, if you have any questions on either one of these firearms, as usual, I know it's not too much about the firearms. It was just a kind of a thank you video. Reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And thank you very much for watching this video today. And you folks have a great day.